Okay, remember we discussed that there are three types of actions. The first one is a filter, second is highlight, third is URL. Okay, right now we have two filters. Okay, so let me remove them and we'll start from scratch. Okay, now whenever you click on California, what you want to do is you want to change, you want this bubble chart to change, okay, accordingly. So you need a filter for that. So let's create a filter on that action. These three actions are presented to you. I want to create a filter, right? Basically, whenever the user selects California, this information should reflect only California's data. Okay, then what I'll do, I'll create an action from here to bubble chart, right? From map to bubble, dashboard actions, add an action filter. Okay, so what is my source? Map is my source, the point where I'll make an action. And where should that reaction be shown? On bubble. It's on the same dashboard, right? From map, affect it on bubble. Okay, now let's see if that will happen. See, whenever they select some states, only those particular states information is shown right now. Okay, that means this is working. Awesome. So let's see more options in there. So here we have three options to run action on: hover, select, and menu. Select means whenever you make a selection, then the filter is applied. Hover means, so let's select hover, click OK, click OK. Now whenever I hover, I don't need to filter. I don't need to select anything. Whenever I hover, it reflects, right? So that's my hover option. And the next option is menu. That means it will be presented in a menu. So if I click here, it's not changing. But here there is this option like a menu. Click there and it will reflect this place. So for now, let's see. It doesn't reflect anything. No. Click on this filter and then it will be applied. Okay. Now click on this filter and then only it will be applied. Clear? That's the menu filter. Oops. Actions, filter. So you understood this part. Run action on, you understood. Select on, run on single select only. Now let's see this one. So basically whenever you select this, it will be single select. You don't need to multiple select it multiple times. That's the single select option. Okay. Then clearing the selection will leave the filter, show all values, exclude all values. So basically show all values. That means, so when you apply, when you click here, you want this filter to be applied. The question it's asking you is, what happens when you do not select anything? Like you selected it once you come out of it, now nothing is selected. What should happen? So that's the question it's asking. Okay. Actions. So here, if you say leave the filter, okay, that means place the filter, keep the filter intact. Click OK. Okay. See what happens. Now wiring is shown. If I remove that, this is not being changed unless I make another selection. Okay, that's my leave the filter. So if you unselect something or if you did not select anything, okay, what should happen? That is the question, or that's the answer that we are selecting for. Leave the filter, show all values we just saw. Basically it will show all the information. It will not place the filter if you did not select anything, and exclude all values. Let's see, click OK. Let's see this. So now if you did not select anything, nothing will be shown in the bubble chart. Okay, unless you make a selection, it will not be shown here. Are you clear here? these are the three options that we have in action. So what should happen once you unselect or clear the filter selection? Leave the filter, show all values, exclude all values. Now, when do you use these three scenarios? You're already familiar with these three. The basic idea is filters most of the time is done on select. If you have humongous amounts of data, okay, then you'll use menu filter. If you have very little data and if the number of computations you're making does not affect your server's performance, then you'll use hover. Okay, these three options. Normally select is used. If there's no problem or there's no concern about your processor or power, you'll use hover. If you have humongous amounts of data, you want them to be sure that they want to select it, right? Then you'll use menu option. Okay. Leave the filter, show all values, exclude all values. So show all values means the whole view will be shown. Leave the filter, earlier filter will be left out. Exclude all values, it means basically until unless you make a selection, nothing will be displayed. So show all values is used for generally visualizations. But if you want to keep the filter intact, then we'll use leave the filter option. And if you have like huge amounts of data, for example, so instead of this bubble, okay, imagine a scenario something like this. Customer ID, customer name, go here, this sheet 5. Okay. Dashboard actions, I'll create a filter between my map and sheet file. Exclude all values. You'll understand why I did that in a moment. Okay. Now the reason why I selected exclude all values, especially for sheet 5, is that, see, this is big list. Right now I have like huge amount of numbers. So if I select show all values here, okay, that means it will try to display all the values. It's a very big list. There's no point to see this huge number of people. If that is the case, if your list is very big, then what will you do? You basically will select exclude all values, okay, because of performance. Clear? Awesome. Then the next option we have is target fields. So basically, for example, right now, if you select Oregon, okay, what should happen? Are you basically showing the, oh, one small thing, I'll create the data a little better. Okay, let me remove the action also. Action on state, okay, gone. Now it's going to show clearly all the information it has. Now, earlier, whenever you selected this California or Idaho or Wyoming, basically you're filtering on state level. So target fields, oops, sorry. Target fields, basically right now it's selected all fields. That means basically filter on all the values. But you can also use selected fields. So something like region, okay. So whenever they make a selection, okay, you see all the values in this region. I have colored it by region, right? So all of these values in the region, whatever selection you make, it will show you, sorry, the bubble chart will show the sales of that region, okay? Not for each state, but for the whole region. For Texas, or for to be frank, like for central region, this is the graph. For west, this is the graph. So any state you select here in west, this graph will be same. For east, it's like this. For south, it's like this. Okay. So right now, basically, I'm filtering on region. Whenever they make a selection here, I'm filtering it on region, right? So that's my target fields option. So basically, which fields should you filter on? That's the question you're asking them. Which fields should you filter it on? Okay. So these are our filter options. Any questions on filters? Okay. Sarita asked a question. Will all these filter options are included as part of requirements? Sarita, most of the times these filter options will be included as requirements. Sometimes you just have to understand your business a little bit to place which kind of filter should be used. Okay. Are you clear? Okay. Perfect. She is clear. Any other questions? In filters or different options possible on a filter? Like all of this. This is nothing but name. Okay. Here you can also, for example, if I place it like this, geometry filter one. Let me select menu so that it will be clear. It will show you the geometry. So basically, why is this used? For example, so let's say instead of geometry, I'll try to show state. Okay, menu filter. Click OK. Okay. Now you know that they're filtering on California. So instead of that, you can also give something like state sales filter. Okay. Now, whenever they select something, see the option right now I selected Arizona. So the option that I get whenever I make a selection on Arizona is Arizona sales filter. Do you want to show that? Utah sales filter. Okay. Those are my options. Are you clear? Any questions? Okay. So Naga asked a question. As we're using different filters as per requirement, can we categorize like overall how many types of filters are there in Tableau? Sure, Naga. Let's finish with actions today. But there are basically 4 types of filters, but then you can also categorize them into more types. So something like data source filters, we have already seen data source filter. This is a data source filter. Whatever you enter it here will be used for the whole data source, right? So that's why it's called a data source filter. Here, if you place something here, for example, say region. So here you have a show filter. So this is my quick filter option. Okay. And then we also have a context filter, add to context. A parameter also can be used as a filter. Okay. There are many more options. Action can also be used as a filter. Okay. Let's discuss that in next class. Okay, awesome. So let's see. We'll see more options in actions. Sales dashboard, actions. So now filter will be shown with this icon. Okay. So whatever name you give, you might be confused with that, right? So that's why this icon is placed. So if you click here, say for a filter, it will be, the icon is like this. Whatever name you give, all of this might change. All of this information can be same for highlight as well as filter. So to differentiate which is a filter and which is highlight, these icons can be used. Okay, awesome. Next, see the highlight option. See the highlight option. This is very similar to filter. Here we have a source sheet. These are target sheets. Okay, target highlighting. So basically, which should be highlighted? Is category supposed to be highlighted? Is customer ID supposed to be highlighted? What should highlight? What should be highlighted? So right now, all fields are selected. You can choose them whatever you want, or you can also select all dates and times like this. Then we have run action on hover, select menu. Same options, right? Perfect. Now you have already seen this option, right? Category. So if I place something like this, click OK. So this will highlight the category that it's supposed to do. Okay. Let's say okay. Now if you observe, if I select here, only those that are supposed for that particular category will be highlighted. Okay. Let me present a something which is useful or something you can understand better. Okay. So let me generate graph, category, subcategory, and sales. Okay. I'll try to place this on my sheet 5 here. So whenever they select here, if you observe, technology is being highlighted. Office supplies is highlighted. Okay. Now in this one, actions. So if it's menu filter, okay, highlight one, that's the name or keyword that I entered earlier, office supplies. So if you want to highlight, click here. So like that, you can do that. Okay. If they click on technology, then the filter will be different for technology. Highlight one, technology. Here, highlight one, office supplies. Okay. So basically, whatever selection you make, it will be shown appropriately. So say highlight one, office supplies. Okay. And the last option in actions is URL. So in URL, basically we have only source sheets because target is on the browser, right? Outside. Or if you try to place a web page here, it will be that particular web page, nothing more than that. So we have a source sheet, run action on, similar options, hover, select, and menu. So URL, basically you can give any URL. Okay. Now if you want to search with whatever selection they make, you can click here and you can select these options. Okay. And then you also have a test link. Sorry, this was open. So say google.com. Oops, sorry. Okay. Test link. Wikipedia.org is opened. Okay, that's my test link. You can also place it. So let's say I will search for state here. Okay, with state Illinois. Now this is the URL for Illinois, right? So now what I'll do is I'll place it here and I'll remove the Illinois part and I'll only place particular state on map. Okay. Now here I'll say hyperlink. I'll put state. Why is this useful? You'll see in a moment. Click OK. Click OK. See, hyperlink Texas. So if you want to see the hyperlink option, click here. So it's searching for Texas. Okay. If you select, say, North Carolina, hyperlink North Carolina. Yeah, it's easy, right? So that's the reason we use those all options and actions. Any questions on actions? We're done with the actions. If you do not have any questions, we'll close this session for today.